Hi, Miss Beth. Thanks for your patience. I'm just getting started on the various platforms. Feel free to come up to the stage. So I have, hi, Georgette. How are you? Okay, I also have video running. Okay, good. So we're just getting started. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. I see Amidu Babakar. Oh, wow. Sorry. Apologies if I'm not saying your name well. I also see Mike. Hi, Beth. How are you today? Happy Friday. Hi, Beth.
Happy Friday.
Okay, good. Happy Friday. How was your week?
It has been good. I am just cleaning my office and filing stuff away so I can have a good weekend.
Yay, good, good. And welcome, everyone. So, this conversation is going to really, really be fascinating because I was preparing in my mind to write um, my newsletter. So I'm a prolific writer, I'm an author, I teach, I speak, I do so many things. So I was preparing to write this idea of entrepreneurs versus business owners. Not every entrepreneur is a business owner, and not every business owner is an entrepreneur. And I remember just sharing it briefly with someone, and the person was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Can you share a little bit further?" And then I realized a lot of the things I teach, people don't get it yet. Not everybody gets it yet. My book, also Mindset of an Entrepreneur, covers this transition that we have to make from employee mindset to entrepreneur's mindset. Because if you don't complete that shift, and you attempt entrepreneurship, you're going to become an employee of your work. You're just going to create another employee. Employee mindset would always create something that is limited, right? So I want to break down a few characteristics of a true entrepreneur and how an entrepreneur is supposed to go out into the world, and then the transition point of going from an entrepreneur into a business owner. There is a difference. For you to be a business owner, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You can literally just go out there, buy a business, and run that business. You don't have to start from scratch. So I'm going to break down a lot of those things today. So welcome everyone joining me from different parts of the world. I also see RJ Coop. Okay, I've tried to bring you up. Let's try this again. Okay. Is okay, good. It's working now. Hi RJ, how are you? Happy Friday.
Thank you. Still traveling. We'll be home in 8 hours. Home away from home. But
Yes.
I'm following you. Don't think I'm trolling. I'm going to learn everything about and shout you out and tell the world.
Oh, come on. And happy wedding again. I know you just got married, so I know you I know.
I'm on cloud nine, but I told her give me a couple more months because they say you can't mix business with pleasure. We're going to see how to make that happen.
Okay. I get it. I understand. Enjoy yourself. I see familiar faces coming in. If you're on the entrepreneurs network, you can actually also come in for video. So let me know if you want to do that. So we have different platforms coming in. I see Jason, Ted, Lucia. Like, thank you. Happy Friday to you all. Thank you for spending your Friday with me. Trust me, you're going to have a blast. Okay? Entrepreneur versus business owner. For those on the stage with me, if you want to say anything, just blink your mic. That will be a signal I'll be looking forward to. That way, I give you time to speak. So feel free to stop me. Feel free to contribute. If anything I'm sharing jumps at you and you go, Toyin, I've been there. Let me tell you something. Okay. So this is the place where you can do that as well. Okay, Beth, RJ Gupta, and I also see Katarina joining us also directly in the platform. You can join on video. So I have video and audio going as well. Good. So, entrepreneur. Before I go into entrepreneur, I think we all know employee, right? Because everyone in the, at least in the Western world, if you've gone through the traditional education system, we've all been trained, programmed to function as employees. So we get that, right? If you have at least one degree, I have two. My husband has three. He's a PhD guy. Those of us who know how to read, You know what I'm talking about, the smart ones. You go to school, you get the A's, you get the B's, you get it. Okay? For 20 years, at least 20 years of your life, from 0 to 20, A, B, C, D, we're taught A, 1, 2, 3, right? There's a whole system. I hope you also know the education system is highly regulated by the government of whichever country you went to school in. Everything that is in the curriculum, it didn't just appear there, it's by design. Okay? So we have all being prepared and trained to function as employees. So when you graduate with your first degree, guess what you're trying to do? You have to put your CV together, your resume together, and start looking for an employer, looking for a job. That's the natural progression. You go from first degree to seeking an employer. It's what we've been programmed to seek out. However, entrepreneurship, I believe, is something that continues to cry out in every human that has an idea. Okay? The entrepreneurship journey starts with an idea. Businesses are built on a bank of ideas, right? What you think is possible for you, what you think is possible for the world, what you believe, the confidence you have in yourself, on and on and on. It's now a journey of you. Okay? Not just with your employer, but you versus you. What's within you? The story within you. Let me stop there and just get some reaction because I have a ton to share today. RJ, Beth, anything you want to share or contribute to what I just shared right now?
What I'm doing, this is RJ. I'm actually driving. I'm sharing the room. I've got about 4,000 or 5,000 followers. I'm
Oh,
just
thank you.
grabbing everyone, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can be able to speak, if that's okay.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you guys for sharing the room. I appreciate it. Invite your friends. This is Friday. Let's have fun. I appreciate that. Beth, anything you want to share before I go on?
I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of something. I'm listening to you, but
Awesome.
I am going to have to stay on mute for just a couple minutes.
Oh, thoroughly. I just don't want to ignore you guys. I want to make sure you're part of this if you want to contribute as well. So anyone that wants to speak, raise your hand, join. You can come up to the stage. I'll also send some video invites out if you want to join as well. There's the video will also be available in my academy after this session. Okay. So I think the easiest one to even talk about is business owner. Who is a business owner? Okay, a business owner. I'm not going to use any technical terms. I want to keep it simple. I just want comprehension. So when I speak or teach, it doesn't have to be too technical. I just want us to be on the same page. Generally speaking, a business owner is someone that owns an asset that can create value for their customers and clients and themselves as well. I'm just keeping it Toyin's definition. You own something, you own a structure, okay, that can create value. The value you're going to create in forms of products, services. You can create value, give it to the world. It benefits your clients and customers. And then that structure also allows you to collect, for them to pay you. Okay, the transaction has to happen. If all you're doing is creating value without collecting, guess what? You're a not-for-profit. You're not a business owner. You are a not-for-profit, money going out constantly. Then you have to go and appeal and beg donors, partners who believe in you to keep funding, right? So a business owner owns an asset. That's the first thing. Assets, something that holds value. Okay, that the value, it holds value, it can create value for other people and yourself, whether it's your shareholders. Okay, there is an asset involved in ownership. This is why I said you don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a business owner. Listen, you can go and do franchise, you can buy a franchise, you can do a Subway, you can, right? Because Subway they've created a brand that is an asset. They have, right, structure that is an asset. They have processes, okay? They have all the things, right? Processes, structure, Everything you have to do, the operations of the business, that's what you're buying. You don't have to figure it out. Okay? You don't have to figure it out. That stuff exists. That is the asset of the company. So you can go out there and go and buy a legitimate business that is already generating revenue. It has product services that people want. Okay, they have customer lists, right? And customers are already paying them. Okay, so you can run an existing company. That's the first thing I want people to understand. An entrepreneur, on the other hand, starts with an idea. All you've got is an idea. Oh, I believe we can do this. If we do this, then we do that. Then we can do this, then we can do this. And then I can ship this, right? In your mind, ideas are flowing. Okay, everybody has an idea, but the entrepreneur, right, takes courage and says, you know what? I want to bring this idea to life. I want to bring it into reality. So the person, the founder, the person who decides they want to bring an idea into reality must be ready to take certain risks and make certain investment to bring it to life. That's the entrepreneur. Okay? Is that you have an idea that certain products, certain services can contribute, okay, to certain people, and those people, you believe they will pay you, they'll pay you plus some to be worth your work. You are the visionary, you are the architect, you are the solution provider, you are the problem solver. Okay? And an entrepreneur always starts with an idea, a concept. Now, the big thing that happens is that if you do entrepreneurship very, very well, you are supposed to transition from entrepreneurship to business owner. You are supposed to take your idea and build a business structure around it so that you now own an asset. But this is where failure happens. This is the big failure that happens, is that when you have an idea and you continue to apply employee mindsets instead of building an asset, okay, you become an employee of that idea. You start peddling in a way. Buy this, buy now, buy this, buy now, buy this, buy, and perpetually you're doing buy this, buy now, buy this, buy now. And you're not building assets. You're not building a structure that has processes, that has functions, that is bigger than you. So you find out that people say they're entrepreneurs. Okay, that means you have an idea, but the question is 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, after your idea was birthed, if I come to you, I want to see and ask you, what have you built? What assets? If you really want to become a business owner, right? Where is the assets? Where is the asset? This is where you find out that people are still building like their employees. They are employees of whatever it is they're doing. The employee mindset will always create certain realities. Certain realities. So always an entrepreneur, never a business owner. Okay, I'm just creating awareness. I just want you to be aware, because many times when I say, go pro, go professional, become a sales professional, become a business professional, I'm trying to get people to get out, to break away from the employee mindset that will always create a limited reality. Yes, you have an idea, but if you don't know how to build an asset out of that idea, right, then there's no equity, there's no ownership, there's no transfer of asset, there's no legacy. We've heard this before. Yes, you can sell a service. Yes, you can get customers. Oh, trust me, all you have to do is stay on social media long enough. You do that. But that's not being a business owner. So what sets a business owner apart from an entrepreneur that's doing, right? I'm going to break a few things down, but again, I want to give time. Who wants to contribute? Who wants to share? Who wants to ask a question? I'll just give few seconds. That way, I want you to be part of this. I want you to ask questions as well. And I see Jason. There's also if you want to ask over video, let me send that out. You can test it out as well. You can come in and out. And so anybody else that wants to make a comment on what I just shared. Oh, and I see who's this person. There's not much information. Okay. Hi, Jason. I see you now on video.
Hey, I don't have any questions yet, but you're my number one in terms of like coach, because honestly, you're at the political level too. And that's where I'm going. My grade 5 book was about becoming prime minister. So I'm just listening right now. I don't have any questions.
So then I will ask questions if you do have
Oh yeah,
questions.
sure. Ask me. That helps me pay attention. Always.
Okay.
No, students, no, definitely. In terms of learning, right? You're more engaged when you're answering questions at a professor. So yes, professor.
Yes, professor. Okay. So what category would you put yourself right now? And I also welcome Catherine to the stage.
Yeah, this is why I wasn't actually sure, because I'm both. I think because the fact that I'm an entrepreneur, because when I see an opportunity, I did convert it. For instance, I added value to my head office. That was my house. I bought it for $500,000, and in the pandemic, I did two things that most people didn't do. I put together a book course. It's 25 years of my work.
Mm-hmm.
I went and entered a program like Course from Scratch by Daniel Leslie, and I put together that as a product. But then when it didn't get sales, I increased the value of my investment property, which was my house, renovated it for $200,000, and I sold it last year for $1 million. So that's an entrepreneurial type thing, because I know some people that would say, "Oh, just keep your house," and they just live in their house, or they're just trying to buy a house. And when they buy a house, they're like, "Yes, I have a house." But absolutely. I saw it as an asset. I increased the value and I sold it.
Absolutely. So an entrepreneur definitely knows how to spot an opportunity and take advantage of an opportunity, for sure. Right? That's the part of the entrepreneurial mindset. But what I'm also making a distinction is spotting an opportunity and pursuing an opportunity. People get into a rat race, always pursuing versus always attracting.
Yeah.
The business owner attracts. And this is where branding, brand equity, investments in branding allows you to attract and establish an identity that is known for something. But if you don't invest in, say, a well-known brand, you will continue to be pursuing opportunities forever.
And I think this is the piece that I have to work on still. I'm the PencePowerClub.com president. I'm Dream Livers Club Incorporated's president. So by 2030, I think that PencePowerClub.com will be established enough that people say, "Hey, that's the guy that owns PencePowerClub.com." But I don't think I'm there.
But here's the key. You may own certain things that you have concepts on, but if the world doesn't know about it, that means there's no recognition.
For sure.
Right? So let me hold that thought. Let me welcome Catherine to the stage. Over to you. Welcome to the space.
Thank you very much. Hello from the UK.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
Fantastic. I think this has really resonated with me, because I've always classed myself as an entrepreneur. But actually, you've just outlined what that actually is versus business owner. And, I'm there with ideas firing all the time. But it's that what was key for me was the assets and building of the assets. So my business, Hydrate the Nation, we're coming at it from doing good to our people and educating them around getting their bodies in a hydrated state, we're aligned with the National Health Service, Bentley Motors and things, but we're not actually profiting from it as yet. We are a new business, but it's like, okay, so we can all have these great ideas, but how do you gain income from that when it's a concept, I suppose?
Okay, that's a question. Is that a question for me?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. Okay, so
before you answer, is she in the room? Because I apologize. I'm looking.
No, she's not where you are. I have 3 different platforms going at the same time, and we are integrated with video, audio. So she's not in the space where you are in. But did you hear the question she asked? Could you hear her?
Absolutely. And again, I don't mean to, I'm going to let you answer the question, and then I'll have a
Follow on.
once you get complete.
Okay. Okay, good. I love this interaction, by the way. This is the beauty. This is why I do this. We are all going to go on this journey together. Okay, I think, are we all in agreement that entrepreneurs have incredible ideas that they are willing to take risks on? Are we all in agreement? Yes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Yay! We all agree. Okay? Because employees may have ideas, but they kill that idea. They tell themselves, oh, it's not possible. But entrepreneurs have a sense of possibility. So we take more risks. We step out there. We have that energy and that spirit of bringing our ideas to life. That's what distinguishes us from employees. Employees would say, they'll tell themselves all the reasons why they can't do it. Okay? So entrepreneurs are risk takers. I'm happy we all agree on that. Now, what we ought to be doing with our idea, okay, is not just saying I have an idea, is actually positioning ourselves as an architect. You're going to draw something. It's just like a building architect. She has an image in her mind, but she writes it down and draws it on paper. The reason is because you will sell your ideas to the world. And when people cannot see, when people are not in your mind, it's very difficult to convey. Earlier on this week, I talked about tell stories that sell. Because if you're selling a physical product, it's easier to sell physical products because the five senses can comprehend. Test, right? Sight, sound, right? Smell, feel, that is touch. What else? Right? We have five senses. So it's easier for me to say I'm selling you a perfume. All you have to do to make a decision is to sniff it. Oh, and then make a decision that you want it or not. However, to sell a concept that is not physical, that's where the work is. An idea is non-physical. So the first journey is trying to make something that is not physical. You have to make it physical. And the easiest way is to write something down or draw it out. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the first journey. The first journey of this metaphysical activity of images in our mind, translating it in such a way that we bring it into the physical realm.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Now, the second thing, I know there are several steps, but I'm just trying to guide us and quickly answer your question. The second thing is whatever you write down, you now have to build. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? So first you have to be the architect that draws out or writes out, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I believe is going to be possible. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to go to the moon, we're going to come back, we're going to travel to space. Yes, write it out.
Yeah.
Now you have to build it. Now is when you count the costs. In order to pull this off, what do I need? And here's the transition we have to quickly make. Please realize everything you're going to need to bring that idea to life, most of it would actually be beyond you.
Okay.
This is where people struggle and say, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. Because I don't have this, then I don't have this, so I can't do this, so I can't do. So literally you are shutting down your own ideas before it takes off.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay, to build an idea, here's the key. We need to see ourselves as a custodian of ideas and also realize that everything that is required to bring that ideas to life is on planet Earth. Our job is to connect with those things, connect with the resources, connect with the people, attract everything we need to build that reality. That's the job. That's when you start transitioning into a business owner. Okay, you have to know that you are just a custodian. You are the person, you are the visionary that says, this idea, I'm going to be the one, okay, to bring it to life. But don't stop there. Don't let your own limitations limit the idea. Right? Don't let your own financial limitation, your own skill limitation, whatever limitations you can ascribe and say, because I don't have this, this cannot happen. You've got to stop that.
Yeah.
There's one of my programs in my school. I call it as removing barriers to your success. The game plan, 12 strategies for winning. Is this exercise that you have to believe that anything you want is possible, anything you think about, the mere fact that the idea entered your imagination, you have to know that there's possibility assigned to it.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That impossibility, you have to put it out there, and you have to wear the suit of Superman or Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So go on.
Sorry to interject, but it's like the limitation there is the finances. So with regards to resources, I know what I need to do and need to have, and I believe, by putting it out, you attract it back in. But people want paying and people want money for it, so then that makes me question myself and the idea.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying this idea doesn't need you and your limitations to kill it.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I want to add, if I can add on to the
yes.
And this is going to be exciting. Again, I feel like it's one thing we're on the social media platform, the Clubhouse, where we're talking to the profile, and now we're going deeper. I'm listening to a voice for someone in the UK who I can't see on social media, but I'm able to respond to, you mentioned, and people will say that just the first limitation that's put on yourself is that I do not have the finances. So one of the things that I learned as an entrepreneur was, and I take it to everything now that I've been in business, a business owner. But when I first got started, and I understand this, Les Brown is a motivational speaker. And there's a saying that some people say, I can't because I don't have the time. I can't because I'm married. I got to take care of my family. I can't because I don't have the finances. So entrepreneurs who are risk takers, we say, how can I? I may not have the finances, but here's the reverse. How can I find the finance?
Exactly.
That's always in my mind. How do I go? I'm going to go sell some bottles. I'm going to go get some. I'm going to go short of asking people for money, and that's fine too. You can ask because closed mouth does not get fed. But I said I'm going to be resourceful because any entrepreneur takes chances. You know what? I'm not going to pay my rent for the first month, and I'm going to beg for forgiveness because I know I'm going to be positive with this chance. I'm going to make money, or I'm going to do something, or I'm going to be able to pay the rent back. I'm just going to have to work harder. So to the point of those that say, and then the other part of the equation, I want to say this, that we don't have the finances, start off small. Start off small. And I'm going to give this example of one of my first entrepreneur's experience, and I have three, but this one that made a difference was I was walking down the street at an event, and I saw people selling, this is the service, barbecue. Barbecue fish, barbecue chicken. You guys know the term barbecue. So I knew my father had a barbecue restaurant before. I knew people love barbecue because I see the lines are a mile long. They're standing in line. I told my friend, I'm going to sell barbecue at the next event. So how can I was my next answer. I went out and bought a small barbecue grill. I went out because to Toya's point, something you have to write down. Normal business people do a business plan, but entrepreneurs, these are risk takers. All I knew was I'm going to sell something. So I go get a barbecue grill. I go buy some meat, and I'm going to be different. So I'm going to do something instead of a regular traditional barbecue. I'm also going to put chicken on the stick. Like we call it shish kebab or teriyaki barbecue. In the Philippines, they call it monkey meat. So I said, I'm going to put it on a stick, and I see the person making money. They're selling their sticks for $3 each. They're big chicken sticks, they're pork sticks. I said, you know what? I'm going to beat that price. I don't know what I was thinking about, but I said, I'm going to sell mine for $1.50, but I'm going to give them half the amount of meat and make it more affordable. So that was my plan. So I set out, I stood next to the person that had the biggest line, maybe 10, 15, 20 people in line. I knew my barbecue was going to smell good, and so it had to have something to reel them in. The next thing I know, I have a pocket full of money, just taking a risk to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Now I know that you can take that chance, believe in it. Don't say, how can I not? Say, how can I? And then take it from there. Back to you, Coach Joy.
Yeah. And I thank you for that. And yes. And I also want to share a little bit a more advanced approach to entrepreneurship. Because once you start becoming a serial entrepreneur, you really you actually don't even want to invest your own money. There's another world out there where becoming a business owner has to do with people believing in you becoming more bankable. Right? And this is where it all gets into people relationship. Your assets to start with, when you're starting from scratch, the biggest asset is actually your relationships. The relationships you can unlock. Because in order to go from being the architect that wrote the idea down to being the builder that builds, there's going to build, you're going to need a ton of resources, a ton of energy, a ton of like you're going to need so much more, because ideas give birth to more ideas. Okay, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. The full big picture might be what you want to do, but in order to fit in that big picture, you might have 100 pieces, and individually they are concepts and ideas by themselves. But the most advanced way where our entrepreneurship is done is when you have an idea and you count the cost of an idea, you start gathering and building. It's either you already have those relationships or you start building relationships, because the way the world is, the person who has idea does not have money, the person who has money does not have ideas. That's how the world is. Right? And this is where you go into investment mindset. There are 3 relationships I say you need to have. You need with money. You need to be able to attract it. This is where entrepreneurship is. You need to manage it. That's money manager, wealth manager. There are a bunch of those. And then you need to have the investment mindset. Those 3 mindsets, right, it's what sets people up for success on this journey. The business owner has those 3. The entrepreneur may only have 1. Right? But for you to go from an entrepreneur to a business owner, it's because you've transitioned into understanding the power of investments. That's the only way Jeff Bezos can have Amazon today, because he also started the big businesses you know today. They all started with limited resources. Limited garage. They start in their garage. They start in their daddy's shop. All of the biggest businesses in the world, they all started with an idea. And one person who believed in the idea, and one person willing to start the journey of risk-taking. But how you grow from that stage to being a business owner, this is a fundamental journey. Is that you're going to need capital, you're going to need people, you're going to need all kinds of resources, and everything you always need, you do not start out having. You don't start out having. Nobody started that journey having everything they have today. Right?
Yeah, and that's very refreshing, and also it feels very what's the word? Encouraging as well, to have that, and you don't really strip it back when you look at the big brands and the successful brands, and you don't strip it back. You just kind of naturally think
exactly
that's a given, but it's not.
Well, but here's the key. Those who have done this enough times realize that this is the Elon Musk of the world. All you have to do is say, I'm taking people to the moon.
Well, I'm going to take people to the moon and hydrate them. So there you go.
Right.
Elon Musk, eat my
dust. And here's the key. But what does Elon Musk have that you don't have? Believability, audacity, competency, relationship. People who believe in him, and the people who believe in him, they've got money in their pocket, so they will rally around and give him $42 billion to buy Twitter.
Well, don't you think it's an intelligence thing with him, using as an example?
Okay, okay, let me bring in Beth. You said, what was your question again? Intelligence?
Yeah.
Okay, One of the brilliant things I say about knowledge, I say knowledge is the software of the human mind, and 100% you can program yourself. You can program yourself. So Elon Musk has programmed himself to be Elon Musk. So if you want to perform at any level in life, you can go on a journey programming yourself to perform at any level. Because the only limitation I continue to see is the knowledge people have exposed their minds towards. So, so let me bring Beth in. Yes, go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in for a minute because I'm going to have to go. But the biggest thing that I hear from people, right, that want to become entrepreneurs or they want to become business owners, they bail out because they're like, it isn't easy. It looked easy. Well, I'm sorry. Anything in life that you want to get to is not going to be easy. You have children. They're not easy. You can't parent and make it easy. But that is what I get even from new realtors a lot. They're like, well, it looks so easy, but this is hard. And when they get put up against hard, they walk away. And, you know, even RJ, you probably can contest to this in the flipping world. When you're buying homes and stuff, you'll find really good properties out there that people came in. They thought they saw it on HGTV and they could just go in and do it. And it looked easy on TV. And then they figured out they had to stay up until midnight and they're putting in carpet or painting a wall and they just walk away. And that's where we lose a lot of our entrepreneurs.
Oh,
well,
yes.
See, if I could say, Toya, to Beth's, with the definition that I learned when I was, I'm going to say 17, when I got involved with Small Business Administration, and I was in the Navy, so I really got a firsthand academic knowledge, not at the level that Toya is giving us now. Her analogies are so technical, but they're basic back to what I learned. One of the fundamental things that was told to me was that in business, at that time, within 2 years, most people will fail, 50%. And so to those that think it looks easy, or those that I say to those that come in, whether it's real estate, whether it's computers, and in my case, trucking and logistics, now farming, everyone that comes in this room, and I have 4,000 or 5,000 followers, and they follow me because I'm following Toya, and we're talking about energy, how to make money. Of those 4,000 to 5,000, probably 80 to 90% of them are still not successful because they didn't take the actual steps. And so that's the point that I just want to share with you. And so a lot of people are still the glamour. They want the money, or they listen to these Clubhouse platforms. We've been on them for 2 or 3 years now. I met Toyin in Africans Funny Africa, and I don't know, she can count on her hands who's following her. She might think I'm trolling her, but it was a time when I just didn't think I was ready to be able to engage her and take notes. But it took me a year and a half to stay the course. So that is a requirement, is you have to understand, you have to put in the work. And on the spiritual side, we say, faith without works is dead. You can believe in yourself. You can believe you can do all this. If you don't have the capacity to do the work, then you're not an entrepreneur. And to be a business person, unfortunately, the rule definitely applies. You're not a business person just because you have a business license. You're not a business person just because you have money to start a business. You are a business person by definition when you can sustain your business and the services that you provide in the asset.
So thank you so much, everyone. So I come at this a little bit differently, a little bit. Okay. Part of the reason this is so hard is because we've not been taught. It's not rocket science. You know, why I actually created the Entrepreneurs Academy is that the journey can be easier. The journey can be easier, because just imagine if you say you want to be an engineer and people say, yeah, here you go, fail fast. Go figure out engineering by yourself. Go figure out accounting by yourself. Go figure out flying a plane by yourself. Go become a doctor all by yourself. We know failure is inevitable at that point. Right? If I give you a plane and I say fly the plane, the plane won't even take off, you know. It won't take off. So where I come in as a business educator, as a coach, as a trainer, is because my husband is a university professor, PhD chemistry, right? My late father was part of establishing 2 universities. When I came into this space, listen, this is why I wrote my book. This is why I teach, because failure can be avoided for at least more than 80 to 85% of these things we're talking about. Because where do you go to learn how to build a business? So because the curriculum, the school system removed wealth building, wealth creation mindset, this skill was removed from the curriculum. And we were all trained to be employees. The day you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to be a business owner, self-education is the only way you go. You have to educate yourself. And part of educating yourself is trying to figure it out. And many people cannot figure it out by themselves, so they fail. But I'm saying business by itself, because it's not rocket science. This is where I apply empathy, okay? This is where my own empathy comes in, is that the empathy is understanding that the journey of business success can be a lot easier when we apply the principle of educating ourselves, learning what I need to learn to be able to do what I need to do. Okay. And this is also true. Remember, Catherine, when I was talking about being the architect that writes the vision on paper, and when it is time to build, even in a building, you can have the perfect drawing on paper, but if you give that drawing to an inexperienced contractor, that building is not going to look nice. So that's also something I say. You can have the perfect idea, you can have the perfect vision, but if you don't have the perfect skills, if you don't have the perfect competency, if you have no clue electrical components of the building, lighting, plumbing, you cannot build the building. You are going to fail at it. This is why I always say education. That's why if you hear me, if you follow me, I always talk about the Entrepreneurs Academy, because I've put together a series of curriculum to guide people from mindset, right? My book, Mindset of an Entrepreneur, the game plan, success principles, branding, marketing, pricing, sales, strategy, like everything that I do, I put the school together, right? So, and that's what I offer, because again, it's not rocket science, but it can appear to be. Right? Everything is rockets, everything is difficult until you learn how to do it. Fishing is difficult until you learn how to do it. Swimming is difficult until you learn how to do it. Cooking is difficult until you learn how to do it. Basketball is difficult until you learn how to do it. Golfing is difficult until you learn how to do it. But when you learn how to do it and you do it over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to build skill, and it becomes effortless.
I do think though that not everybody is a golfer.
Not everybody. No, why? But here's the thing, Catherine. If they could make everybody in the world read and write and learn ABCD, like if that's the power of education, is that the human mind is programmable. Now, each person can have affinity for different subjects. That's why some people would like being a nurse, a doctor. Some would like accounting. Yes, we have natural inclination towards certain subjects. We will naturally deviate, whether to music, whether to arts, whether to being this. That is natural. But the foundation of education is saying, when you apply your mind to a subject long enough, you understand, you will now start comprehending it, and you will no longer be a novice. So it's about comprehension, it's about conscious learning. You can learn anything you put your mind to learning, and you can become anybody you want to become. That is the human creative ability. That's why I say entrepreneurship is the highest, fullest expression of human creativity and productivity.
Do you think though, I know it's like being a creative and an entrepreneur, but do you think that the whole sort of meaning of life, do you think we strive too much for this financial gain or whatever the goal is, rather than just actually being the one? Because, you know, we're not here forever. And do you feel that greed takes over with entrepreneurship?
Okay, there's something I covered in my book, and I ask everybody to own their own why. What motivates everybody is different, right? Some people may say, I want to leave an impact. Some may say, I want to build legacy. I want to leave something behind. I don't want my kids to do ABC, so I'm going to do this work and hand it over to them. Some people would say, listen, it's all about the money. Whatever it is, whatever that reason is, the journey, the process is still the same. Even if you come into it and you say you want money, I wrote in my book, I said that in order to make that money, you still have to get certain things right. It doesn't, whether you come at it to do good, whether you come at it to build legacy, whether you come at it for selfish, whatever reason you come at it, you will still work for every single dime you're going to make. And then the journey is to satisfy your why. So whether you agree, it's greed, you will satisfy your greed. Whether it's you're generous, you satisfy your generosity. Whether it is to leave legacy, you will satisfy. But who am I to tell you what your motivation is? Everybody is let me tell you something. And Renee, feel free to come up to the video thing. So let me tell you something, right? I say you can see two people running. Okay, two people can be running and running really fast and running at the same speed, but realize one person may be chasing after something. Somebody may be afraid of something and running away from something. The motivation is different, but the action is the same. Somebody is motivated by fear. I don't want to be poor. Another person is motivated by faith, right? I want to become. But both of them are running this race of entrepreneurship.
For different reasons.
And if they do it right, both of them get what they want.
I suppose, and it's that non-judgmental, isn't it?
Listen, I apply no judgment. Do you? Do you? Right? Because on the journey to do this right, to serve your customers right. Renee, I don't know why I'm not seeing your video. Maybe you need to turn your video on. It says you're a speaker, but I can't see your video. So to do it right, in order to serve clients and customers, you have to be non-judgmental. In order to serve your employees, you have to be non-judgmental. In order to serve your vendors, you have to be non-judgmental. In fact, one of the secrets of success in transitioning from entrepreneur to business owner, it is 100% based on your human relationships. Success in life, in business, is if you know how to connect deeply with people and serve their needs, whatever those needs are, you're going to achieve success. So
success again is a personal belief, isn't it? What do you value as success?
Absolutely. However, you cannot be successful without working with people, one way or the other. That's because employee mindset, they sold this idea that you can be successful by yourself. So an employee, everything, all the results the employee is getting, there's this feeling of self-satisfaction that I achieved success by myself. I went to school, I learned the skills, and because I have the skills, I'm now the chief accountant, and see, they're paying me good money, I'm living good life. That's fantastic. That's the height that an employee can get to. The success you can achieve all by yourself. The day you become an entrepreneur, you will realize how limited that mindset is. You realize how limited you believe in, because that's where this thing comes in, where you start looking at your bank account, you start looking here, you start looking at yourself, and you realize that the vision for the idea is bigger than yourself. That's when you need to start disrupting your employee mindset, because the employee has been cultured to believe that they are enough and they are sufficient for the journey, for their success journey.
And I believe that it's getting younger and younger that people are actually identifying this, because I've got children and they're already seeing the limitations with schooling, with education, and their mindset is not where mindset was when I was a child. So I'm hopeful for the future.
So here's what the way I would say it: they've not been programmed.
No, it's different, isn't it?
And here is also the reality: a human mind, a free human mind, will lean closer to entrepreneurship than employee.
Yes, free.
A free, yes,
Yeah.
a free human mind will naturally see themselves achieving success based on their ideas than depending on somebody else. A free human mind. And so that's one of the reasons in my school we have this mindset programs to free your mind.
Yes.
Right? Any type of limitation that comes into your mind is a construct. It's an imagination. It's a it's a survival mindset. I always use this analogy of the lion in the zoo versus the lion in the wild. The lion in the zoo, even if they were born to the same parents, they share DNA. Let's say when they were born 20 years ago, one was put in the circus.
Yes.
Another one lived in the wild with the parents. One was captured, put in the circus, and lives in the cage and comes out, performs breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He doesn't have to work for it. Okay? I'm telling you, I don't know if lions live up to 20 years. Let's just say they do. If you know more about lions, let's just say, okay, maybe 5 years. I don't even know how old lions get. But let's say fast forward. Okay? You now bring the one in the zoo escapes. Okay? And suddenly finds itself in the wild. I'm telling you, it will want to go back to the zoo. It will seek to return to the comfort. And if it doesn't go back to the comfort, it means it has to now learn new ways of being, of thinking, of performing, right? To be fully in their capacity. So what usually happens is that employees have we all have the same human spirit to be, to create, to be free, to unleash. However, there's a story, right? The story of the escape. How do you survive when you escape? Which is where learning entrepreneurship skill is what actually gives you freedom. This is why I always preach sales skills, right? Business skills, branding skills, marketing skills, because this is what sets you free. Your ability to tell your own story, to bring your own products and services to the marketplace, to sell it to anybody you want to sell it, right? When you have those skills, you set yourself free. That's what the lion in the wild has. Every day, the lion wakes up and knows there's food in the jungle. I just have to find it.
Survival.
Yes. And the lion doesn't sleep worried.
No.
Doesn't sleep worried. Because ecology, the wilderness renews itself. Money is flowing every day in the economy. Listen, the government is continuing to print trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions, and they just tell us these numbers in the news, and they printed some more, and they printed some more, and they printed again. And people, when I teach on the flow of money, the only reason they print money is for transactions, human to human transactions, because the history of transaction is trade by barter. So humans, when we all come together, we are always transacting. You're buying shoe, you're buying bag. You're always buying what you need. We use money to buy the things we want to own for ourselves. And the government supplies, right, the currency by which the citizens of the nation can transact with one another. So whether you learn these skills or not, whether you learn how to swim or not, whether you learn how to fly a plane or not, every single day, the people who have mastered those skills, they are winning. That's why I always say, hurry up and learn, guys. These things I teach, it's not new, but it can be news to you. For 100 years, people have been building businesses, building assets, building equities, building fortunes based on these principles. They've been selling you Ashes cookies, you've been buying shoes, you've been buying Louis Vuitton handbags forever. For the life of humanity, we've been trading with one another, your salt for my whatever. So this is not new. But during the industrial era, okay, the education system was re-engineered to supply employees to the industries. And everybody was moved away from their homes. Instead of you being the entrepreneur mindset that provides your own chicken, your own needs, and then exchanging with your neighbor to sustain your family, everybody moved into the industrial era, and the industry needed specific skills, and they created the education system to reprogram everybody to be employees of the industrial era.
Jeez.
Yeah. Before the industrial era, listen, we were all natural entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Your dad will send you to go and give milk to the neighbor and collect salt. You in the backyard, you will have you were creative. We were more creative to sustain, right, your family. You will farm, you will have sheep, you will have hen, everything you need. You knew how to exchange it with your neighbors or your community. We were all natural at selling and receiving, selling and receiving, selling and receiving, until the industries blew up, mass production blew up, and we need engineers, we need accountants to count the money, we need doctors to fix people, we need, now agriculture is now machine, everything blew up. And in order to sustain and hold up the industries, we need highly skilled workers. Okay, we now need highly skilled workers. And what are those skills that the industries need? Education was now designed, right, for you to learn the skills that the industry will buy from you, that you will sell. We started selling our skills. That's what it is. You are, so that's why they will say, who do you want to become? Oh, lawyer. They will give you the options: lawyer, accountant, this. Pick one, because this is what the industry is buying. This is what the industries are willing to pay for. This is the value of those skills. And nothing wrong with that. I just want to create awareness. Now, the day you wake up, this is where you wake up out of that matrix. When you wake up out of the matrix, and you now say to yourself, you know what? I think my soul or my mind is telling me there's something else out there that is beyond this reality. That's when you now have to actually add on more skills, not less. You now need more skills, because you now have to do for yourself what your employer was doing for you. Right?
Is that the other word that's called you have to learn how to pay the cost to be the boss?
I like the way you said it.
That was my mother, Toya.
Mm.
My mother, when she learned how to pay the cost to be the boss, after she learned about education to be an employee at the post office, and then she said, wait a minute, I don't like working for the man. And we could say for the women, I don't like working for the men or someone that is telling me what to do, especially when you know you can do it better. So my mother decided that she was going to operate outside of the box and learn how to be her own boss. The same thing we call it resources. Resources is just another word for the bartering program. Like you said, back in the day, they used us, and I say they as in the proverbial employer. We can say slave masters, we can say whatever, but they use us to provide those services and to be able, till they go into a point where they can mass produce. But back to the point of, I teach people now, in honor of my mother, how to pay the cost to be the boss. And training is another word for education. But all it means is you do not need to go to college to learn how to work to be the boss. You just have to learn how to create a system in order to supply people for what they need. In my mother's case, it was they love to eat, so she learned how to open up a cafe. Loved cosmetics, so my mother learned how to sell Mary Kay cosmetics for a minute. And then when she realized people needed shelter, one of of the most common basic things we all need, no matter what country we're in. We need shelter. So she learned how to buy and build and renovate real estate in order to provide shelter for those who were going to pay her for a place to stay. So at the end of her financial security lessons of life of being the boss, she taught me that when you can figure out whether it's an education, she went ahead just for the fun of it and got an associate's degree in business. No, she did not need that because she was an entrepreneur making millions of dollars. But by definition of bartering and services, Toya, education training, it's all about learning how to sustain yourself, which is the outcome, and to leave a legacy to pass on to the family. So I teach everyone now, or I will share with all of you, the basic fundamentals of how to pay the cost to be the boss.
Pay the cost. Wow. And welcome those who have joined. Please come up to the stage if you want to contribute or ask any question. Okay. This is RJ, you brought us back to the beginning where we started from. Employees, entrepreneurs, business owners. Not every entrepreneur is a business owner. Not every business owner is an entrepreneur. However, if you've chosen the path of entrepreneurship, listen, don't become an employee of what it is you're doing again, because the employee mindset that sets out to become an entrepreneur, if you don't disrupt the employee mindset, if you don't adopt what I call the mindset of an entrepreneur, you may not make the transition from being perpetually an entrepreneur into becoming a business owner. And at the beginning of this session, I said a business owner, in a very, very simple way, a business owner owns an asset that creates value and generates value, that is the return. Assets. And an asset has to do with the structures, processes, people, product, services, okay, that holds equity, ownership. A business owner is someone who owns an asset that is not just gold, silver, whatever that is. This asset renews itself, continues to create value for the life of that asset. It's creating value for other people and bringing value to the shareholders. So an entrepreneur starts out with an idea. Your job is to create and build a structure around your idea. If you don't build a structure around your idea, you are an employee again. And this time around, employee of yourself is more painful than employee of an employer. Right? Because now you have to hold yourself accountable. You blame yourself for everything. The stress is on you. Everything is on you. Transitioning quickly to become a business owner is where I talk about sales professionalism, business skills. Become a business, leave amateur. Like I always say, there's an article I wrote. I said, go pro, stop being an amateur. Because the employee mindset will remain. I'm telling you, even for 5 years. I covered this thing in my book. For 5 years, listen, if you don't know how to build an asset, a brand, right? Processes, right? Functions, right? Product and services, relationships in the marketplace. If you don't know how to position, right? A business where you are attracting money and you are not chasing it all over the place. If you don't build that asset, you will continue to, participate in activities. You'll be participating in commercial activities perpetually. And those activities are dependent on only you, and they are running on your own energy. You don't have systems, you don't have processes, on and on and on. The transition from that employee mindset to becoming a winning, successful entrepreneur that then builds a structured business is what the training I provide in my school is about. Right? Because again, it's not rocket science, but if we don't know what we're doing, we don't just know what we're doing. I mean, that's what I said. But trust me, we don't tell accountants to fail fast. We don't tell lawyers to fail fast. We don't tell doctors to fail fast. We send them to school for 4, 5, 6 years. That's what we tell them. Right? But employees, oh my, everybody tells you, fail fast, and everybody keeps repeating, failure. Please, guys, stop. Don't join anybody saying that stuff. Imagine if somebody says, Oh, I want to swim, and they say jump in, don't worry, fail fast, you figure it out on your own. Or you say you want to do skydiving, and they say don't worry, just jump off, you figure it out before you smack your face on the ground. It's a foolish idea. Yes, sir. Go on.
Can I give this to you, Toyin? When you share that story, when people want you to fail fast, can you also let them know? I'll be right behind you, because when I learned in the Navy, we couldn't jump off a plane or jump off the ship and hopefully learn how to swim. What I tell people now, again, because I'm always in a reverse positive thoughts, failure is not an option. If you put that in the back of your mind, failure is not you're going to learn some lessons, you're going to make some mistakes, but never end up listening to someone say, go ahead and fail. I don't operate like that. And I'm traveling around the world, traveling around this country. Imagine if I'm in a truck in my logistics company saying, I'm going to fail and hit somebody and take some lives or damage the product or
yeah. It's sad. It's sad. For me as an educator, right? It's sad. But I also know the people who say that is because they don't have an alternative solution to offer. It hasn't entered the consciousness, right? That there's another way out. It hasn't, right? And so, but in recent times, this is where in recent times you see certain schools start talking about entrepreneurship separate from MBA. In just few schools, you start seeing certain new programs being carved, right, within business colleges that is titled entrepreneurship. Because now they are waking up to realize that you can have an MBA all you want. It doesn't mean that you can start a business from an idea. An MBA will thoroughly help you enter, right, the industries and start being a manager and managing people, right? The industries already have the processes defined. They know their customers. They have marketing teams. You have everything you need. All you have to do is be the boss of within a company, a structure. Entrepreneurship itself is a different skill. Taking an idea from concept, okay, giving birth to it and building a structure, figuring all the structures from scratch, building processes, sales process, procurement process, invoicing process, right? All the process, marketing, building all the functions of a business and integrating it into a business that can deliver value in the marketplace and also bring value to its shareholders and its owners. That skill, MBA will not teach you that skill. MBA will thoroughly not teach you. To be giving you numbers and making you feel smart. You feel smart, go to a company and go and feel smart there. But to be on the streets with fresh idea, with a new brand that nobody knows, right? With a new brand, with a new concept, with a new idea from scratch that you have to tell the story over and over and over and over and over again and tell the world to make room for your idea and say my idea deserves a place in the world, and you drill it in and you drill it in and you drill it in and you make way for that idea and you invite customers and clients and you do it over and over and over until it is established. MBA will not teach you that. Sorry. MBA will not teach you to believe in yourself. MBA will not teach you to believe in your dreams. MBA will not tell you to invest in your future. MBA will not tell you none of that. But entrepreneurship, becoming a business owner, listen, that's the transition. You actually have to become a different person.
Can I just ask what MBA is?
So when I say MBA, Masters in Business Administration, here in the US, MBA is a big deal in the world of business. You say you're going to business school, right? Like the finance, right? The Wall Street MBAs, the CEO MBAs, just so MBA, Masters in Business Administration. And I have a business degree, right? I have a business degree, but it's more on the technology standpoint, right? So this is the, the reason I'm hosting this session is just to create awareness that when you have an idea and you believe in the idea and you start that journey, please disrupt the thinking, the employee thinking pattern, quickly embrace the mindset of an entrepreneur and realize that the business, the structure To build a house requires resources, components of it. You have to build an asset if you want to do it right. Now, I see many people not doing it right, but if you want to do it right, that's what I teach. If you want to own an asset, if you want to have life of enjoyment after you've done the work, you have to build assets, you have to build processes, structures, right? You have to build a brand, right? Because the business would operate all under a name that is trusted. If your name is not trusted, if the name of the brand is not trusted, you can't run a business. If the name is not known, nobody knows you. So you have to make investments in brand. You have to make investments all over, right? To build an asset that you can even sell. So I'm going to stop. I know I've said that several times because that's what I teach in my school. I see Miss Lucy. I see Jason back on Clubhouse. Please go ahead. Did you want to share something? I'll start wrapping up now, everyone.
Just to back up what you're saying with something also that I discovered, because I teach 7 steps to entrepreneurship millions, and I'm still like, I got to the 7th step, but I'm still going back to step 5, which I work strategic jobs. So basically I funded my entrepreneurship with jobs because, there's a lot of advantages of that. You learn while you're learning, and you see how other companies run. In fact, Bill Gates said that if he had to start over, he would do something like what I did. And I used to work at Microsoft Canada, 98, 99. He said he'd work for other companies. He finished school and worked for other companies first, because what that does is it gives you a sense of how other businesses operate, right? So that's really key. I think that some of these people, if you blow up at 20, the guys that founded Yahoo, they did that, but then they needed a more experienced person to come in and run the company because they wanted to have that benefit of the experience. What I've found is in Canada, at least I can say, it's not, at first I thought, these educators, like, they really need to get somebody like me to teach more of this entrepreneurship, or somebody like you and everything. But it's not necessarily that they don't realize that they need that. There's just so few people that actually have entrepreneurship experience, right? So even though they want to, and I don't know what it's like, you have more experience in Africa, even though they want to make the education system more, adept for entrepreneurship, even at the colleges, I'm meeting these people that administer these loans that I don't qualify for now because, my credit, I was late on paying. So my credit rating started to go down after I got my $1 million sale, paid off everything, then made investments in my company. And then I'm behind. So now I don't qualify for some of these things. The people that are declining, they have no entrepreneurship experience, right? Like, so they're in these programs trying to coach people to do things that they don't even know how to do. So I think it's just so rare. Successful entrepreneurs that maybe a transition in a business owner, I think it's just so rare. That's why I appreciate your education, but that's all I have to say. I don't think this necessarily is.
No, I appreciate that. So there's something you're saying that I also want others to. I'll make it clearer. To become a successful entrepreneur and become a business owner, you actually have to have this dexterity to understand multiple disciplines within your structure. It's actually the closest thing I can say is trying to fly a plane. That's the closest mindset that I can call an entrepreneur, is a pilot. Because if any function in that plane is not working, the plane will not take off. Because you need 2 engines to be fully operational. You need everything, the airflow, the wings, all the systems in that plane. And the plane is a complex, highly complex system. Imagine the knowledge that a pilot must embody to be able to fly a plane. That's the way a true entrepreneur must become. So one of the unique things that I have, earlier on I said I had a technical business degree. Actually, I'm a certified SAP consultant. It's a German software. And part of what we do is we integrate the functions and systems of the biggest companies in the world. So as a solutions architect for Walmart, as example, or Whirlpool, my job coming into the biggest company in the world was to understand all the functions of Walmart and build systems that would integrate it all, finance, controlling, procurement, HR, real estate, and the processes that upholds each of those functions. We call it functional area. Accounting is a functional area. Procurement is a functional area, right? Real estate. I used to do the back end strategy for Walmart, $250 million, 5 years spend, 3 to 5 year strategy. The unique skill, which is what people don't have, which is what Jason is saying, is that by profession, I integrate all functional areas for big businesses. And so when I became an entrepreneur, I started realizing that small businesses, startup, don't even know where they ought to land, how to go from 0 to 100. So many people will continue to circle around amateur, right? Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. 5 years later, I'm an entrepreneur. 6 years later, I'm an entrepreneur. 10 years later, you're an entrepreneur. Or this is what I've seen. They fail to build a structure around one idea. They jump to another one. No continuity, no operational excellence. Okay? So because they didn't figure out how to build that structure, you find out several people that will just come and say, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I've built 2, 3 businesses before. If you ask them, where are those businesses now? They're probably gone. The reason they are gone is because they never built a structure, or, right, they didn't figure out that industry. So they moved on. The people who do entrepreneurship well will stand up a business, put the structure, and sell it. Because the reason is because entrepreneurs will continue to have new ideas. There's something intoxicating. Once you've done it once, you will do it again. So those entrepreneurs that succeed, you find a lot of them becoming serial entrepreneurs. They will exit, they'll build a company, bring people around it, establish the business, move on to the next thing, build another thing, take the money they made here, put it in here, build another structure, make more money, move on again. Because they are visionaries and they are architects. They know how to design the operations of a business. So I actually have that background of being a systems architect, a business strategist. And that architecture mindset is what I now apply to teach entrepreneurs, right? How to structure their business in a way that is world-class. Right? Because you actually have to understand the basics of branding, marketing, sales, pricing, communications, you have to be a pilot. A pilot is the closest thing I can say. You have to fly you have to be able, you have to embody superior knowledge of all aspects of a business. And then you have to fly it. And one of the things I love about pilots, if you build that system well, the engine will bear the load, not your physical body. Pilots do not have to develop physical muscles for them to fly a plane, but they will develop their mind. They have superior mind. They have to be sharp. They have to be aware. They have to be steady. If the plane is going down, they will be steady. That's when you see. A pilot is not going to say, oh, they won't scream. If they scream, there will be chaos on the plane. They will just be steady. They know what they are doing. They will attempt to bring it out. They can call for help from the headquarters tower, right? So you find out that pilots have superior mind. The other thing pilots have, to fly the plane, guess what? They rely on other people. They don't just say, oh, me. No. Do you know when a pilot is flying the plane, they cannot even see where their wings start and end. Somebody else has to stand on the runway and give them signals and tell them, make sure your nose is pointing straight, the nose of the plane. They have a lot of gadgets, dashboard, that tells them you're at this altitude, there's a certain skill, and that's the skill I want you to embody. It starts with knowledge. Then you develop skill that gives you confidence and the audacity. And trust me, pilots, they don't wear the engine, the system they build, the business structure you build will bear the weight and the burden of your growth. When people don't do this well, you will feel this when you're trying to grow, because you've not built a structure. The business is trying to grow on your own physical strength and capacity, and you realize you are so limited, right? You're so limited. Literally right now, for those who have joined my academy, it's a system. It's a system. Anybody can join any from anywhere in the world. Listen, it's a system. I've built it. It took me years to build it. It's a system. I can go to bed, sleep. I can wake up and say I want to do anything and reach people and connect with people. You can register, you can pay anytime you want. It's a system. I want to listen. That way I can live, I can spend time and do other things. It's a system. So the pilot, really, the system bears the weight. The structure of the company bears the weight. The structure of the business bears the weight. But right now, if you are feeling pain on yourself, if you say, oh, I don't have time, guess what? What can you build on your own limited time? You have to build something that is not dependent on your time. Maybe, okay, let me not make assumptions here. I guess, depending on the vision you have for your future, right? Depending on what you see. So maybe let me just leave you with this thought. What vision do you have? What are you building? Because you ought to be counting the cost based on what you're building. Are you building a 2-story building, a 5-story building, or a 100-story building, or a skyscraper? Because the cost to build a 1-story building, the time that it takes to build a 1-story building, right? The resources that it takes to build a 1-story building versus a skyscraper, they are not the same. They're not. So while everybody out there can be saying I'm an entrepreneur, listen, we are all not building the same things. We are not. Because some people will build a story building and will say, oh, I'm making money, and good for you, you've achieved your goals. But some of us want to build, we want to save the world, God help us. Some want to go to the moon, And so our labor, our foundation, the investments we have to make in ourselves is different. So I guess I'm only called to people who are called to drive impact through the power of entrepreneurship. Those who are called to build wealth, to build legacies, right? Through the power of entrepreneurship. Those are the people that my message will resonate with. But if all you want to do is just sustain yourself, replace an existing income, you just want to live, that's okay, guys. That stuff is just stay enough on social media, you will live that life. But for those of us that we have bigger things we want to do, that's where my school comes in, because there's a framework. You have to invest in the brand. You cannot be doing what everybody's doing, right? So last words, Renee, I see you. I'm not seeing your picture, but I see that it's accepted you as a speaker. I don't know if you're on audio only. Renee, can you try to speak, unmute and speak if I can hear you? No.
Hey, Toya.
Yes, sir.
It's RJ, and I'm real quick because I'm in the mountains. But two things. One, you have different platforms playing. There was a young lady from UK. I don't know if she's still listening. She mentioned about hydration. If she is, I do not know how to reach out to her. To those in the room, there's another Gmail. G-Man is in the room too. The red flags. I'd like to welcome him. I invited him to the room. With G-Man and the young lady from UK, if you can figure out how to reach out to her, I want to grab them both and then get an opportunity to talk about your academy. Because again, I tell people, closed mouth does not get fed. And of course, I'm here to be able to learn. But again, if you can, I don't know how we reach out to people who are not on the platform where we can see them.
Yeah, usually, right? The place you meet, there are 2 communities that I have that is not on social media. One of it is about international trade. It's nazaru.trade. And the second place where I'm bringing entrepreneurs together is the Entrepreneurs Academy, toyinumesiri.academy. Those are the 2 communities that I'm building. Everything else that I do on social media is I'm being social, right? Social media is for social, connecting with people, saying hi, sharing some thoughts, learning about you. And then if you want to go deeper, if you want to meet my community, if you want to access, if you want a front row seat to all the brilliance and all the amazing things, including government support and all of those things. If you're interested in international trade development, it's nazaru.trade. If you're interested in entrepreneurship, sales professionalism, business development, mindset coaching, It's toyinumesiri.academy. That's where I'm saying let's all come together. That's where you can connect with one another, access my resources, access my classes. And this week, by the way, I had the opportunity to interview the Small Business Development Office of International Trade Leadership, right? This person reports directly to the chief administrator for US SBA. Like she said, I mean, there was one thing incredible that she said. She said, we are the voice of the American small business within the government. I was like, that's so fantastic. So there's a lot of resources within the government over the next couple of weeks into October now. I'm bringing in government leaders to educate us about the resources that the US government has to support business owners and entrepreneurship. So for example, this week, the leadership I brought, they said, our main focus is to help established small businesses grow bigger into international. Okay. And they were very, very like direct to say, we have another department that helps startups. We are not that person. The reason I want to break this down is that even the US government is organized by the size of your company. So if you're starting from zero, there's a particular resource that it can help you, your business plan, business funding, the basic foundational stuff, because the government wants you to quickly move out of startup phase. They want you to establish, they want you to be the structure so that you can move into small business owner. Once you operationalize and build structure and you are making a certain revenue, there's another, right, accelerant, catalyst of growth. A small business that is established can grow two ways. You can go national or you go international. Meaning you want to now start finding new customers and serving new customers beyond your city, beyond your state. You can go national, you can go US wide, or know that 95% of consumers live outside the US, right? You can find customers in other markets and their vehicles and support stuff. So my whole journey really is helping people not just start, right? Build your business at home, build it internationally. Whichever of those two, depending on the journey you're on and the appetite and the vision you have, the tools, capacity, educative materials that I'm pulling together is to support people who want to be in the front lines. So whether it's startup to establishing, my school is there. Whether you are fully established and you now want to expand, tons of resources that can help you. That way we are all moving forward fast. I always say learn fast. Okay. Yesterday I wrote an article. I said the consequence of inaction. The one consequence of inaction is you get left behind. That's why you have to be running. The whole world is running. You don't know, right? You don't know everybody's running because you don't see the race that everybody's running. And you are like, oh, it's okay. Guess what? The people who started this journey 100 years ago, they've built multi-billion-dollar businesses. The people who started 50 years ago, they've built multi-billion-dollar businesses. Some people just started 10 years ago. Some of us were just like, oh, you're the first to do this in your family. You're the first to do it in your community. And I say, hurry up. People have been doing this for 100 years. Hurry up. That's my parting words. Hurry up, learn fast. The classes, courses, and programs are available. Enroll. Listen, become a member. Tons of resources, tons of workbooks, right? Listen, you can't miss it. You can't miss it in my school. We go all over, right? I go on behalf of my community. Whatever you need, we'll bring it to you. So that's my own wrap up. Catherine, what's your wrap up? And then I'll close out for today and wish you a great weekend.
Bless you. It's not a wrap up, but if I don't ask this, and I think I'm going to, it's going to play on my mind, and I'm sorry to like elongate this slightly. You know, you said about the government and there's government funding out there because they want to embrace the change and all that, but they're the ones that actually implement the educational system that still keeps us all herded, let's say. So that doesn't make sense for them to actually have funding available for this sort of thing. Sorry if that's really deep.
No. I get it. And thank you for asking. And I see Mohammed as well. Mohammed, do you want to say something before I respond to that? Mohammed, welcome to the stage. Quickly.
Thank you, ma'am. But I don't have like
Okay.
something to say right now, but maybe later.
Okay. Okay, good. So whenever we talk about government, government itself is a structure. Okay? Government is a structure, and government structure continues to be tweaked, and improved on by government policies. Okay. So when I talk about education, okay, education itself has an history, and I shared the history. There are people in charge of education in government. The person in charge of education is different from the person in charge of small businesses. Is different from the person in charge of military. Is different from the person in charge of this. Is right? Just like a company, right? The chief procurement officer is different from the chief financial officer. Is different from the CMO, chief marketing officer. Is right? Everybody has their function within a government.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are called, okay, to connect, inspire the educative arm of your government to change, right? Definitely, there are vehicles to do that, lobbying, all of those things. Whenever I talk about government, I always work with the government structure that is in charge of business, trade, and investment. Okay? So whenever I talk about government, I talk about it within the structure, the people who support small businesses, the people who support big businesses, the people who support listen, it's a different function. There are different leadership, there are different things. Whereas the people who support education, here's what I say: let's be informed about what's happening, and let's decide which one we want to leverage or impact. I am aware what's going on in the education space, but it's not for me to disrupt them. What I have done is to create my own academy and online, right? My own solution, because I come from the education side, was to create my own school. I'm not investing my energy convincing government to change their way. I have seen what they are doing. I understand it, but it will take them years. Like in late 70s, early 80s, India had to completely restructure their entire education system. Do you know what it takes for a government to do that? It takes political will and a lot of money. That's not me. While I understand where that is, the solution I offer everyday people, while they will figure that out or they may never figure it out, I'm calling you that your life, your future. Here is where we are. I have created my own school. Last year, I did a program for United Nations training entrepreneurs from 38 countries. So I'm taking my curriculum everywhere. My books and my curriculum. I'm taking it everywhere, right? So I'm inviting people to join my own school because they don't have school for us. Yes. Yeah. Right? So they don't have school for us yet, but I've created mine because that's a gap I'm feeling. So whenever I then talk about government engagement, I look to the government arm that can support business owners. I build partners, I establish partnerships with them. I nurture partnerships and relationships. I host international trade summits. I host events, right? Because the government has resources, information, knowledge, trade information that can make a business grow faster. My TV show is called Quantum Leap. You can completely, right, accelerate your own journey to success by the knowledge you expose yourself to and the resources you can attract to yourself. It's up to you. So I will put that information out there, and I'll invite people to jump on my own plane. You know, when a pilot is flying, they will tell you this plane is going to California, this place is going here. I'll just tell you where we are going, and I will share what I am doing, and I'll tell you why I'm doing, and then I'll invite you. Do you want to be part of it? If you want, come join us, toyinumesiri.academy. And I also tell you what we are doing, you can't find it anywhere else. I'll tell you that. You can try, but I'll tell you that. Right? Right? Because I have searched. If it exists, right, then everybody should be winning right now. It doesn't exist. And so I have designed what I believe my community needs in order for us to quantum leap. We don't have, listen, we don't have to, do you have 20 years to be figuring it out? I want rapid, immediate success. That's what I want. And if somebody has figured it out and can teach me and guide me and connect me, and by the way, I have my own teachers. When I say teachers, I have people who mentor me, who are presidential advisors. I sit at their feet as well. So you pick your teachers, I pick mine. I'm also coached and guide to people who pick me. So anyway, so that's what I would say is that yes, while I'm calling out the gaps in the education system, the gaps in the society, regions around the world that haven't invested in wealth education will continue to struggle and depend.
Yeah. So I've got my final words, and if that's okay.
Please.
My final words are: wouldn't it be amazing if this infrastructure could change for our children and they could be free thinkers like they used to be in the past?
They are. I agree with you. And in a way, the structures, there are new structures being built that disrupt the old structure completely. The AI, the blockchains, right? They disrupt governments, central banks. They disrupt the old way of doing everything, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But this is the caution. If you still don't adopt the mindset of an entrepreneur, you become an instrument of the new wave, not using it to power your own life. So it's like these tools, just like social media. Let me even just stay at social media. Let me not go too complex with AI. Social media is a tool that allows me to do what I just did today.
Yes.
Okay? But this same tool is destroying many people. So like any structure, like any system that is built, those who know how to take advantage of it will build wealth, but it will leave many people disadvantaged.
Casualties.
100%. There's always casualties, and the casualties is driven back by lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Right? The same social media is creating mental crisis. That's why I always tell my students, get off social media, go and do your assignment, go and build your life. Right? We build offline. Listen, if you're in my school, I speak straight. They know me. I'll tell you, listen, use social media, don't let social media use you. If you're my student, you know that. I will tell you, I will use social media to my advantage. The same tax code, another system, taxes. Taxes favor some people, taxes doesn't favor some people. Why? What's the difference? It's knowledge. It's knowledge. Knowledge divides the world, the entire world. Knowledge divides people. If you know how to use AI, you will win. If AI uses you, you will lose. If you know how to use social media, you will win. If social media uses you, you will lose. Anything that is created that is a utility. If you know how to use food, you will win. If food uses you, your health will suffer.
Yeah.
Everything in the world is based on knowledge.
Knowledge and control, I would say as well, but self-control.
Discipline, yes. That's why in my school, there's I talk about personal development, I talk about spirituality, because ideas are very spiritual. They hold the potential for your future. It's a possible future. It's an option. You don't have to, many people don't take up, you might have 5 ideas, but if you don't impregnate your heart into believing it's possible, then it's not yours. It is not yours until you make it yours. And by the way, ideas do not care about you, by the way. The same idea that came to you, it also flies around and comes to 100,000 people.
Okay.
Ideas are racing to be fulfilled. That's why as you are waiting and waiting and waiting, listen, the person who takes that idea and runs with it, before you know it, they are eating the fruit and the rewards of that idea. I'm not the first person to avoid the idea of teaching entrepreneurship. You're not the first person to have whatever idea you're holding. In fact, ideas are here to be fulfilled. It's just looking for the perfect vehicle. The people who discipline themselves and take the risk and make the investment to bring it to life. Idea is a seed. If you're not a farmer, you eat the seed and it disappears. But if you apply the investment farmer mentality, you plant it, meaning you invest your time, energy, and resources, you water it, you pour your life force into betting that idea. And then when it grows into a tree, the fruits, you can eat the fruits, your kids can eat the fruit. But the rest that also got that idea, they never invested in it.
Powerful.
Right? So I challenge entrepreneurs. Listen, I am doing my own life. You are doing yours. Right? So I do not make promises that I will do this for you. I will do that. No, no, no. I'm not doing anything for you. It's all going to be what you do for yourself. Everything is going to be what you do to yourself or do for yourself. The investments you will make into the future, the time you will invest in it, the energy you will invest in it, the resources you will invest in it, the risk you are going to take for it, 100% it's on you. It's on you. It's not on me. It's not on me.
Sounds
RJ.
like taking the cost to be the boss. Is that not true?
Yeah, do you want to be the boss? Do you want to be the boss? If you do, we can teach you how. If you don't, that's okay. Because you find other coaches making promises they cannot keep. Oh, I will do this for you. Oh, I will build your business for you. Oh, I will do marketing for you. Oh, I will do this for you. I'm like, really? You've not done it for yourself. Who would you do it for? Do it for yourself first before you start telling people you build their brand for them. Guys, don't fall for those things. But you know why people fall for those things? It's because you don't want to do the work. Right? Because you don't want to do the work. If somebody comes in now and makes a promise and say, I will do this for you. If I tell you, if Tony says, oh, I'm going to take you to the moon, bring your money, I'm going to take it, you will give me your money, right? But because I'm telling you the truth and I'm saying you discipline, you time manage, you show up, you make investments, you do this, people don't want to hear the truth. So people are investing in a lie. And the lie will soon show them nothing has changed. But I'm telling you, the truth will set us free. The truth is that your ideas are waiting for you to become the visionary that gives birth to it. And if you invest in that idea, the idea will invest in your future. When you show up into your future and you're 70, you'll be proud you made those decisions. Because many people arrive at that future and they have regrets. Because the youth, the time today is the time to build what you want to see in your future. Guys, today is an opportunity to build what you want to see tomorrow. If you don't build it today and you procrastinate to tomorrow, tomorrow will still ask you, are you ready? Are you going to do today? And people will say, no, tomorrow. When tomorrow arrives, you are 50, you are 100, you are 70, and then you sit in tomorrow, and then you don't see what you were supposed to drag in. Some of you were supposed to drag in several businesses. You were supposed to drag in several things. The time you were given was supposed to be used to build assets you didn't build. The asset that is supposed to serve the future, it doesn't exist. So eventually, these things I'm saying, eventually people figure it out. They might not want to tell you the truth because they are living in regret, but I'm telling you, go and sit down with 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds. Ask them how they live their life. What do they wish they had done? And please run your race differently. When you want to see your future in a way, just fast forward. What do you want to see in that future? Start building it. Whatever you want to see in your future, start building it today. That's it. It's as simple as that. Sorry.
Amazing. Just saying. I feel so inspired. I'm so blessed that I've actually joined this call today. Thank you to you and to everybody else who's inputted. Thank you.
Honestly, I feel blessed too, because the whole point of building the infrastructure is when I realized I'm called to teach, I'm called to guide. I completely rewired and changed my entire business. Listen, I come from retail. I have lipsticks, I have different things, and I realized, no, I'm called to build people. And so guess what? I built structures that allows me to teach people and guide people and nurture. So I am right now living in the reality that I've built this framework that allows me to do what I believe that God has called me to come and do. And I was joking. Was it RJ? I was joking. Listen, I will be giving you certificates when I'm 80. You will be saying listen, I will be signing. I will be signing. People,
actually grab the information I need.
people will
But
say,
the young lady, something is telling me the hydration. That young lady from the UK. We've got another young man I invited in the room. He's been here, G-Man.
oh my
We're going
gosh.
to follow the blueprint. And again, I cannot see. I cannot see whoever that person was. And she's talking hydration. And you know, we
Oh,
have the other young lady today.
listen.
Whatever I need to do to connect,
Listen,
bridge that gap.
I teach what I do. I teach what I do. And I'm saying, whoever you see yourself being, becoming in the future, lay the foundation today. For me, listen, people will be asking you, have you gone to the Toyin Umesiri Academy? Right? Have you read Toyin Umesiri book? She's the expert. She's the world expert on entrepreneurship. My books will be adopted as business schools. Listen, that's the game plan.
Yeah.
The first series when you join my school, week 1, out there's a personal development workbook. There's a life strategy. You have to design your own game plan. I've got mine, and I'm running it. I'm running it. If you look at my LinkedIn, listen, I establish and nurture, okay, government relationship to advance economic development.
Yeah.
Listen, my voice transforms and impacts cities and nations by design. Because listen, nations will come to me. They will continue to come to me and say, Tony, how do we develop our nation? I'll give them strategy. Listen, I'm telling you, have your own game plan. See who God has called you to be and start building the name, the brand, the infrastructure, the resources that will help you to be effective at what God has called you to do. There's a scripture that says, many are called, few are chosen. Between being called and being chosen is the process you subject yourself to. You are called into an army, but when you go through the training, if you fail the training, listen, you're not going to fight. They won't enlist you. They'll just bench you there. Oh, you are called to be a footballer and you break. Listen, why they will bench you? They will bench you so fast because on this game of life, right? Competency matters. Skill matters. Knowledge matters. Because the rulers of the world, they are looking for people who have competency, knowledge, and skill who can get results. Guys.
And let's face it, we can all get resources, can't we?
Yes. We need results. You need results in your life. We need results in our life. But beyond, listen, that's why employee mindset, you are getting results by yourself, for yourself. You are living good life. So stay as an employee if this journey of life is just about you. Listen, make good money, buy good house, buy good cars, a few designer shoes and handbag, and smile and say cheese and be posting on Instagram. Good for you. Good. Listen, I have lived that life. I've lived it to the highest dimension, working for the biggest company in the world, Fortune 1 headquarters. I've lived the corporate life. And I'm telling you, get your house, white pickets, live that's the American dream, but there's a God dream. The God dream for me was bigger than the American dream that they offered me. The white picket fence, this. My own God dream is about impact and legacy. When I discovered that after my dad passed, listen, I started running a different race. I still love designers. I'm still the bag lady, but I'm making different sacrifices that I wouldn't have made if I were an employee. I wouldn't be even doing this and teaching and guiding. You would not be enjoying this moment if I didn't take my own risk. You will not be participating on the decisions I made. And I'm telling you, other people's life are dependent on you to show up. There are other people's future tied to you pulling off what God asked you to pull off. Because you win. When you win, they will win. Because I'm winning, certain people are hearing my voices and their life is being activated towards the future.
Yeah.
So there's a ripple effect to all of these things. That's why I say entrepreneurs are nation builders.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Did you have a pivotal moment when it came to you that this was your mission, this was your message?
Okay. It's a journey, man. It's a journey. one of the things I've seen this journey is that you don't see it all until you get closer to it. Okay, so let's say God tells you, I'm here in Chicago. If he tells you he has a promise and something waiting for you in California, you will not see what that thing looks like until you start out by faith, getting closer to California.
Yeah.
That's how I see this journey. You actually have to say yes before you see the full picture. And then when you go closer on that journey, you're going to see more. As you move closer, you see more until you see the full picture. So it's one of the, when I tell this, when I left corporate and people were like, oh, what did it feel like? And I said, this is so funny. It's like, will you marry me? And you said, yes, I will marry you. You don't, it feels, you are making the best choice. It feels right, but you don't know what you just said yes to.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing I can tell people, is that it will feel within your soul alignment, your mind, your spirit, everything about you will know this is the best decision of your life.
Yeah.
You will know, your spirit, everything will align. Now you still have to, it doesn't stop you from running it's a new life. That's why I say entrepreneurship is now your new profession. Make sure you develop the skill that will help you do it in a way you're proud of. That's why, so whatever you invested in the other profession, right? Whatever monies and skill, continuous improvement, professional development, whatever it is you had to do to be the best at whatever you are doing today, please do that and more for your future. That's it. Do that and more. Don't, it's not for me. Listen, I'm doing me. And I'll continue to do me. And I will keep showing you what I'm doing. My school is to teach those who want to do theirs.
Yeah.
Because when I'm teaching sales and teaching marketing, I try to get people to understand, don't get this twisted. You are on your own journey. I am on my own journey. But if something I have learned on my journey can help your own journey run better, less stressful, go faster, I help you arrive faster, that's what this is about.
Yeah.
So when I'm teaching people about sales, I say, listen to the journey people are on and offer to support them. You're going to make somebody's life better if you want to do this thing right. That's why I always say, are you removing pain or are you bringing pleasure?
Yes.
That's the role of an entrepreneur. We are investing to create value for you. Something in your life would work better because we showed up. Because I showed up, because I did what God called me to do, many people, their life will change because of it. So that's one of the ways I teach people how to sell with ease. So remove all this, oh, they're going to give me money. No. It's not. When you invest, you will tell me thank you. You will thank me with your money. Okay, guys, let me wrap up. Guys, I see Austin, Letitia. I need to wrap up, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is life. You know, I try to, you will talk about, listen, I sit on a board of $1 billion business. I've worked for the biggest company in the world. I've seen people at the height and pinnacle of success. I work with government. I do all this stuff. You can see it, you can see my social, you can see my LinkedIn, right? All those things, I put it out there. But what I tell you, life is what this is about. And life is greater than money. In fact, you are the wealth. Don't let me go into spiritual, like I teach spirituality too.
I can tell.
Yes, because your life force is the investment you will make, right? It's not even money first. Anybody that say, I don't have money, it's not money first. The first investment has nothing to do with money. The first investment you're going to make when you have an idea is to stay still, calm yourself, find a quiet spot and think. But everybody is so in a hurry. They are managing chaos. You are here, you are there, you are there. You can't even think. You can't even calm yourself down and think about your future, your life, your legacy. Remember, I talked about taking a pen and writing it down? Social media is telling you to click here, click there, go here, go. And everybody's like, zzz. We are all frazzled now because of dopamine. I always say, the first investment you're going to make into your future, okay, is not money. Okay? Is your heart, your energy, your time, so that you can talk to yourself and have a conversation with you, God, and say, I want this. Many people don't even have time enough to do that. So it's not about money, because those who can pray, guys, anything you want, go and pray. God is invested in you fulfilling that dream. He's even more invested than you are. Right? God wants you to succeed more than you do. But you have to quiet yourself to even get your mind right and say, I want this. This is what I want to do. This is what I am going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. If you can do those three things, your life will shift. Your force, your energy will shift immediately.
And that's why these ideas come to us.
Yes, because all things are possible. You just have to know and believe it. But if you're out into the world and chasing external and chasing this, you can't see it. Everything you need is first inside you. Okay? Everything you need is first inside you. Quiet yourself, do that internal work. There are tons of resources. The workbook, the game plan will thoroughly take you into your own world. Listen, it's your life strategy workbook. You will change everything you are, and then you can start the journey for business growth and success. Thank you, everyone. I really do now have to close. Have a wonderful weekend. Follow me if you're not following me. Join me on tattooinghumansiri.academy. Over 300 resources for business growth and success. That's where we're learning how to build wealth with the power of entrepreneurship. Bye. Have a nice weekend, guys.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye. And if you have questions, reach out as well. God bless you. Bye.